SD Gundam Legilis. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, GundamReviews.net, and you've already seen the unbox and the parts for this SD Gundam Legilis. Anyway, it's time to put it all together and give you my final thoughts on this kit, which is really a high-grade inequivalent, outside of the fact it's, well, pretty deformed. All put together, and I've got to say again that this is pretty much a high grade and everything but name only. More color EPs than even the advanced grade, which does a great job for a little less money, which I'll talk about later. But you can see, even on the backs of the heels, yellow striping all around and on the bottom. Great details, and the seals are really going to help it bring to life. The clear green there is going to look good, and no matter which set of eyes you put in, I think he's going to look great. But just looking at this height on, from the yellow and the white and the red in the waist to the gray and the blue with all the yellow in there, and those yellow color apps all over the place, definitely looking fantastic. Armed up, the proportions are definitely going to stay there, as you've got the rifle in hand with the gray and white looking sharp, definitely better than the old school teeny tiny SD Gundams. And that shield there, you can twist it forward depending on what angle you want to put the hands on, but all three colors definitely coming to life. And why do I keep going on about these being the equivalent of a high grade? Well, take a look next to this already just not that old 30th anniversary version of the RX-78-2 Gundam, even though it's an earlier form there. Anyway, you can just see from the height of the legs that you're actually going to have a little bit of mobility, much bigger shoulders, and the beam rifle here, they're pretty similar, but the head height definitely a difference. And next to an older school SD, yes, this is Asamasano's Dark Hound forebearer in the form of the Crossbone X2. Too bad that it only has an SD kit so far. But again, you can just see the difference in size, proportions, and remember, any color that's going to be on here is going to be provided by seals pretty much outside compared to the plastic that you're going to be getting all over this guy. Next to the Age 1, which flew for far too long, you can see the similarities and definitely the good guy, bad guy motif on this classic take on the RX-78-2. And I think I'd be better off with the Ezelcant eyes in there when you're going to see it next to the H3, whether he's Fortress, Orbital, or Normal, as you can see here, but definitely a nice showdown. But we all know who Zeheart should be facing off in the end, and it's actually not the H2 Normal. Bandai, we really do need an SD Dark Hound to complete the sets of all the leads, and the fact we've actually got a villain would just make this perfect for that final showdown. And remember that we're going to be having the FX coming up sometime in the not too near distant future. Proposing, you can see that he's going to have no problems looking down the barrel there, and he's going to look good pretty much, you can guess, on the ground, but even better up in the air, where you can get past the fact that the legs, yes, they do have some articulation, which is better than none, but certainly not up there compared to high grades. Here he is with his angry wings open, and one thing to be careful of, if you do get a little overambitious when you're trying to pose him, that the legs are going to pop out, the arms are going to pop out, and these parts here, you're going to probably have to pop them out to get the wings open. But that yellow beam saber coming out of the hand is looking pretty good, and that clawed hand in general I think works. And the BB Senshi kits are usually known for having a unique gimmick here, and here you can see him blasting off something he probably should have used in episode 48. It's not going to look all that great the way that you can see that it's attached on there, and the head, if you had the mysterious bad eyes on similar to the box, would probably look like a lot more fun. Some final thoughts. First of all, it's just great that we're going to be getting some bad guys in Gundam Age and something other than high grade and advanced grade. So SD bad guy is going to be great next to your O Gundam, which is going to have a nice face-off with Exia. I was very pleased with the lots of plates when you're coming out there. Obviously, they're getting away from those multicolored A plates. Doesn't hurt for the AGs, doesn't hurt for the SDs here. And at first, when I saw this, I was a little bit reticent because there's just too many seals. But the fact that you've got all this plastic in all the right places, and most of the seals, I'd say 80% of them go on very well. Add in the playability that you've got that part that can eject, the shield and the weapons are looking good with the ability to have this hand, even though we can't have them all in at the same time. Lots of pluses, definitely a recommend purchase. So on to future speculation for both the Legilis and for the SD Age line. Well, I've got to wonder where they can go from here. First of all, if they made the Legilis as the penultimate episodes, you could almost say the series, the climax bad guy, in the form of Zeheart, it looks like our odds of getting something like a Giraga or a Zedora or anything else in SD is probably slim to none. So if you're hoping to recreate Char a la Zeheart in all of his different mobile suits and all of the different grades and forms, well, it's probably not going to happen. In terms of the Legilis itself, well, we've already got an AG and an HG and an SD, so you'd think that if this is the only one that got an SD, then hopefully we could be getting a master grade somewhere along the lines just to add a bad guy to the series, although as you've seen with 00, definitely not a lot of bad guys on the horizon. Anyway, everybody, that's going to wrap up my look at this, so why don't you let me know what you think of the Legilis, of Zeheart, of the SD, and of course, of the review itself. And as always, stick around for lots more news, reviews, and everything else you can use. See you, everybody. Bye. My biggest thought, though, from this review is instead of the familiar refrain of it needs more clanch, and we're also going to be getting the custom, the SD line definitely needs some Dark Hound to complete it.